Hey guys, so last night I beat Mass Effect 3. Unfortunately because I am on part 45 of uploading, I believe, and the very ending episode is 91 at part 91. It'll be a while before it uploads. I actually was just about to upload part 45 with 90 minutes left, and then Google Chrome decided it was going to stop doing that. It stopped uploading, and now every time that I try to upload it, it says, oops, whatever that thing is that when it crashes the page. So, anyway, for those of you who have not beaten the game or seen the ending at all, turn back now because there are spoilers ahoy in this little thing that I'm going to be talking about. Um, Mostly, I just kind of wanted to spread the word. If you guys do not know about the dream slash indoctrination theory, um, I wanted to bring it to light because it makes so much sense. So anyway, like I said, if you have not, you might want to turn back since now that I've kind of spoiled a little tiny bit. Um, you might want to turn back now if you haven't. Let's see. So first, I'm gonna leave the indoctrination theory for last. Mostly, I want to kind of just establish that this was in fact a dream. Basically the entire ending from when Shepard gets hit by that laser on, all a dream. Which pisses me off that they actually ended Mass Effect 3 with a dream. But alright, so the first thing that stood out to me was the very beginning when Shepard gets up from getting hit by that laser. Um, the radio says no one survived, everyone's down, and here Shepard's getting up. I mean, someone's obviously observing the area. You'd think that they would see Shepard getting up and heading to the beam. Um, in the fact that Shepard, Shepard could have um radioed back. I mean, she still got an earpiece, a radio to radio back. She could, no, I'm going to the beam, and I made it, kind of like that. Also, just the general feel and the movement once Shepard gets up and starts heading to the beam just feels like a dream. It feels a lot like the dreams with the little boy that Shepard keeps having. Nightmares, I guess you could say. Um, I wrote an outline here of what I want to talk about. I didn't put it in quite the best order. There's also the fact that you have unlimited ammo throughout the entire thing. You can argue that in the very beginning of the game, you basically have an unlimited ammo, which actually isn't true because the reason why they didn't show ammo was so that you would be forced to run out of ammo once you killed that last Tusk, or the first Tusk, I should say, so you have two to take out physically. Um, let's see here. On to Anderson. Okay, so Anderson moves in a way that makes absolutely no sense. Um, Once you are on the Citadel, he's supposedly behind you, like he followed you in, but you're not in the same area. Yet, when you head out toward that bridge, it's the only bridge. It's the only way to that area that you end up in, that panel, the room with the panel. Um, so he goes from behind you to in front of you to like behind you because he was behind you in the um outside when you're going to the beam. He approached the beam behind you. So he was behind you and thus followed you in. But then he's in front of you because he gets to the bridge first And yet when you get to the bridge, he's like, I see the bridge, or whatever he says. And it's like, what? It just screams it being a dream. It makes absolutely no sense. Um, Another thing that is very unlike Anderson is that he doesn't try to meet with Shepard first. I mean, anyone who knows military protocol knows that if you're in an unknown area with known hostiles around, you need to meet with your crew first. You need to try to, try to meet. And Anderson didn't try that. He said, "Oh, I'm just gonna go on ahead." I'm like, what? Um, Another thing is that Anderson claimed to see shifting walls, see things that he thought that sounded similar to what Shepard described. And when you go out into the bridge, you see, you see shifting walls that are similar to a Shadow Broker base, even though what you just saw was supposed to be similar to the Collector base. And like it all just sounds a lot like things that Shepard's already familiar with. Thus, a dream. Um, then there's the fact that when Anderson dies, his gut wound, suddenly transfers to Shepard. And suddenly she's bleeding profusely, and then she just suddenly is just so weak that she can't even make it to the panel to try to fire the crucible. So, which was very interesting. To me, I was just kind of like, what is going on? And, then, actually, I completely forgot something. One thing. I'm trying to go in sequence of how things ran. When the elusive man dies, assuming that you go with the Paragon choice, which I did. I'm not sure how different it is when you go Renegade, but when you go Paragon, the elusive man kills himself just like Saren. In fact, that entire sequence was basically Saren redone. Like how that final scene with Saren, it was pretty eerie how similar it was, actually. Okay, so then after that, there's a panel that just so happens, she just so happens to lay on a panel that lifts up on top of the Citadel in space where she should not be able to survive. And that little boy shows up who is claiming to be the catalyst. He is in every single dream that she is in. He is like symbolism to her. So my theory, if I go by the indoctrination theory, the little boy who claims to be a catalyst is actually Harbinger, talking to Shepard, trying to indoctrinate her. So Harbinger is appealing to Shepard's guilt over the little boy and also her sense of responsibility. Another huge thing that I had noticed was Shepard doesn't question any of the solutions. And she just accepts them. You know how like in a dream you can see the weirdest things or the things that just throw you off, but you just accept it because it's a dream. You know, when the little boy described the control solution, and Shepard just kind of went, "Oh, the elusive man had it right all along." You know, it's like I was like, "Shepard, did you just say that?" I was like, "What?" I mean, I would have expressed this all in the ending, which I didn't, but I didn't want to talk over the cutscenes. I was sitting there going, what a mindfuck, what is going on this whole time? I was just like, what? What? I mean, anyway, I'm gonna avoid getting too into detail about that. Speaking of the little boy, there are some things that the little boy said that make absolutely no sense in terms of the Reapers and what's canon. So, first of all, he said that organic life is preserved as a Reaper at every end of each cycle, but really you only see Reapers that look like those little squid things, or well, I mean, I guess the destroyers kind of look like arachni. Um, but you don't see Prothean Reapers or like, well, I guess Keepers. They wouldn't really make. Maybe the destroyers are Keeper Reapers. Keeper Reapers. Okay, sorry. Anyway. Um, I mean, you don't see Reapers of varying sizes other than the Destroyer class and then the Sovereign class Reapers. So that also kind of contradicts that. Um, Another thing is the Catalyst, or the little boy, or I like to think he's Harbinger. Um, he claims to control the Reapers, but the Reapers say otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, they've always said that they are their own person. They all operate of their own accord. Of course, they could be under the impression that they have control when they really don't. It's possible, but I don't. It just doesn't seem right to me. Um, there's also the fact that the Catalyst claims that they created the Reapers, they control them. Sovereign also says that the Reapers have no beginning nor any end, so they have always existed and always will. Um, that's another thing that has contradicted canon that the Catalyst said. Another thing that happened that Sovereign claims that the Reapers are the pinnacle of evolution. Okay, we got that. The Catalyst seems to think that going the route of synthesis would actually be the ultimate evolution. Combining synthetic and organic life, which I will get into this. I'm going to actually leave the actual diving into what the choices were like in just a minute. Just let me finish this up. But yeah, the child seems to want either control or synthesis, and seems to play on Shepard's the mentality that Shepard has when they talk about synthesis. Because especially if you go Paragon Shepard, they're really not going to want to go with the control. You know what I mean? That is what the child seems to push for, though, because that is the one solution that Shepard isn't supposed to die in, if I recall right. Which is interesting. I will discuss this later. I'm going to leave most of that discussion for later. During this conversation with the little boy, he says something about how he knows that we have thought about destroying us. I find it very interesting that the boy says us. It also supports my theory that the boy is actually Harbinger, or any Reaper, but most likely Harbinger. Another thing that the boy says is that his solution won't work anymore because Shepard found the Catalyst, got to where they are. Really, all the little boy had to do was kill Shepard, or just don't let Shepard get to the Catalyst. Just destroy everyone. Destroy the evidence that humankind or the whole galaxy got that far. And then you protected yourself. I mean, the only reason why the Protheans managed to give the next cycle a chance is because of the conduit that links them to the Citadel. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't have worked for them. Alright, I'm just trying to see if I if I forgot anything. Just one last point about the boy when you're talking about talking with the boy. This kind of supports the theory of indoctrination, or the fact that the little boy represents Harbinger. Um, when you're talking about like organic life is preserved as a reaper, um, it kind of sounds the way that the little boy is trying to in a way convince Shepard um, of a certain thing that they want to preserve Shepard. They want a human Reaper, and they want Shepard as that Reaper. Because basically he's saying that each Reaper, or each cycle, has a Reaper that they preserve for the future, for the next cycle, when they go and destroy the next cycle. They always take a Reaper from another cycle. Um, okay, sorry, I was just reading something I wrote, and I like my handwriting is terrible. Okay, so moving on to the choices. Um, so here's the choices we have. You have control, synthesis, or destroying the Reapers, and all technology, basically. For control, um, okay, again, Shepard doesn't actually question the control method, and actually seems to agree with it, despite the entire time having this resolve um, to destroy the Reapers. Suddenly she's like, "Oh, you're kind of right. You could do this." Um, but I mean, this is even before the little boy says, "But he was under our control, which prevented the elusive man from controlling us." Um, and under if this is the choice that I think Harbinger really wants Shepard to choose. Um, what I put down here is the theory that Harbinger wants another elusive man, or just wants to use Shepard. He's always been fascinated with Shepard. We know that since Mass Effect 2, especially. Harbinger's always been just they really are interested in Shepard. So the fact that they want to take Shepard and indoctrinate them makes so much sense. Why kill when you can control? Exactly. That is exactly how the Reapers think. What would be the point in killing Shepard when you can take such a valuable person who is just the pinnacle of humanity, of the resistance, and turn them to your side? There we go. Um, and so they try to make control the most appealing option, because you don't die. The only thing that really happens is you control the Reapers, as I recall. It is basically the most appealing option. The thing about it is this choice, in the end, you die. You do die. Um, it's very weird. I mean, that's the thing that kind of convinces me the most that this is Harbinger or another Reaper, is the child is definitely lying. He's lying out his ass about this stuff. And so it's like you can't take anything a child says for what it is. Another thing that I find interesting is how to word this. The child throws aside, or I'm sorry, the child. Jeez, okay, Shepard throws her gun aside if you choose either the left or middle option, that is controlling or synthesis, which I'm going to get into synthesis in a minute. The gun shows Shepard, it's symbolistic of their resolve. And it's interesting that Shepard tosses it aside. You know, it's like suddenly their resolve is gone, and they give in. They give in to the, well, if you believe in the indoctrination theory, they give in to the indoctrination, and they either sacrifice themselves to join synthetic and organic life, or they give in to the ease of just controlling the Reapers, or the power of controlling the Reapers. And I think that's kind of what Harbinger was going for. There's also the interesting thing that if you go for either of these two endings, Shepard will get the same eyes as the Elusive Man in appearance, and they will also have a husk-like appearance. I think that's only one of them. With the husk-like appearance, I think I don't know if it's in synthesis or control, but it's one of them. For these two endings, you definitely get Elusive Man's eyes, which is very interesting. So moving on to synthesis. My first bullet point here is, seriously, what? This theory, this option should really send up some red flags for everybody. Joining synthetic and organic life sounds exactly like Saren. You like, that's pretty much his thing. Is he was talking about how you need to join organic and synthetic life in order to appease the Reapers, to become useful to the Reapers. And I just think that that's so symbolic of that. It's so obvious when you think about it that it's very interesting. My second bullet point here is, I've seen enough Mass Effect to know that joining synthetic and organic life together is not going to end well. Pretty much. I mean, I had a friend who, well, never mind, I'll not mention that. Another thing that just makes absolutely no sense is that you jump into a beam and suddenly Shepard creates hybrids. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. How do you just jump into a beam, sacrifice one human life, and suddenly the entire galaxy is just hybrid, synthetic organics? I guess in a way I can kind of see how that would work, but it still doesn't make any sense. So another thing that I have written down here, that I kind of forgot to mention in terms of referencing this to husks, basically that's what it is. I mean, you're basically creating pacified husks, and it just doesn't sound right. It's basically like Harbinger, or the Catalyst, however you want to view it, is describing husks, but in a rainbows and sunshine manner. I don't truly believe that that's how it would end. Another thing is that, I mean, there's the fact that these devices to do these have been there. I mean, who created these devices? All in the same area, same room, and they never used it before? I mean, it it makes literally no sense. And that's the absolutely absurd part. Because, and the little boy claims to have only found out these solutions just now, which leads to the question of, why didn't you use this earlier? He says he just found out now, yet these devices are here. I'm just like, what? Okay. So the third option that you get to choose, the third solution, is to just destroy the Reapers. It destroys all synthetic life. It's supposed to destroy Shepard, because Shepard's like half a robot at this point, you know. The thing about it, though, is you've heard me theorizing that the control and synthesis methods are subtle ways of Harbinger, or the Catalyst, trying to make their agenda look good. This third option, the solution, has been Shepard's plan all along. Destroy the Reapers. Destroy the Reapers. What the Catalyst is doing is making that plan look like the worst plan to choose. I mean, it's basically the biggest sacrifice. You sacrifice yourself, you kill the Reapers, and then you kill all technology. The Geth, you kill Edie, and all technology across the whole galaxy is just destroyed. The mass relays are destroyed. Everyone is cut off from each other. So it's made to look like the worst option to choose by the Reapers or the Catalyst, whatever. I just don't believe the Catalyst was actually a person at all. That's why I keep saying Harbinger or the Reapers. The interesting thought also is that it's said multiple times, or at least once, I guess I should say, that one of the Reapers' most important coding in their coding is self-preservation. So to them, to their logic, control should be the no-brainer. It should be the no-brainer choice. But they know Shepard, and they know that they might sacrifice themselves if it means saving everyone else. So either way, it's self-preservation that has fueled the choices that Harbinger or the Catalyst presents to Shepard. So, I mean, basically, either you save yourself or you save the rest of humanity. Or, not humanity, the galaxy. Everybody in the galaxy. And another thing that's very interesting is you don't actually die if you choose this option. I guess technically you do, but at the very end you wake up and you take a breath. You're alive. It's the only ending where you live. And you're clearly in London. I mean, you're surrounded in cement rubble. I mean, Citadel is not made of cement. It's made of a futuristic metal. It's not... There shouldn't be any cement around Shepard when they wake up after that explosion. So, there's that theory about the end. And again, like I said, you only wake up if you destroy the Reapers. Thus, you resist the Reapers, you fight off that indoctrination. And thus you wake up. Okay. Going into indoctrination, actual theory on the indoctrination. Here's the thing. It's basically inevitable. Shepard has spent so much time with Reapers that it's like, how is Shepard not indoctrinated? It's like there's Mass Effect 2 in the derelict ship. I mean, that is the biggest time where Shepard really has the opportunity to get indoctrinated. Another thing that's very interesting is the scientists, when you read the logs or see the logs of the scientists in the derelict ship, they describe walls shifting and closing in around them. And you know what? That's exactly what Anderson described in The Dream. When he goes onto the bridge and he's approaching the panel and he's talking about, wow, the walls are just shifting and changing around me. It's like, and the fact that that Anderson is basically the symbolism of Shepard's resolve. It's a very interesting thing to think about. There's also the fact that in Arrival, Shepard spent I guess days unconscious around a Reaper artifact that could have very well started the indoctrination process. Indoctrination works best on subjects who are drugged or otherwise unconscious. So that's another thing. And this whole thing is basically a dream, And like I said, indoctrination is easiest during sleep. That's why Harbinger is currently trying to indoctrinate Shepard. That's what this whole thing is. And another thing is, in sleep, Shepard starts seeing increasing amounts of inky black people in their dream. The Rachni Queen describes, when she's talking about the indoctrination of her children, she describes inky black songs in terms of the indoctrination. Now, I think it could possibly be a coincidence, poor writing, but I think that is a huge reference to what's going on with Shepard becoming indoctrinated. Another thing that is very symbolic and very prevalent in indoctrination is seeing ghostly presences. I don't think I even have to explain. I mean, Shepard sees the child. The child is that ghostly presence that symbolizes the indoctrination. The Reapers know her weakness of knowing that that child died because of her. They use that symbolism to try to appeal to it, get her indoctrinated. The theory that I read said Shepard notices ghostly presences that others didn't. Now, I totally agree with that, except that I don't recall her ever seeing things that the others did not see. Other than like the Prothean bit, but that's because she had the cipher. I mean, there's a child. It's possible that in the very beginning, when you see the child in the vent, it's possible that that wasn't even real. That the child wasn't actually there, that the child wasn't actually even killed. I'm not sure how true that actually is, how true it will be, but it's a very interesting thing to consider, to think about. I mean, when Anderson comes and tells Shepard, this way, it's like he doesn't ask Shepard what she found. I mean, she's leaning over this vent. He's just kind of like, what are you doing? Come this way. It's like, so is the child real at all? Or is the child just an avatar of the indoctrination? It's innocent enough. It makes sense using a child as the most innocent picture of indoctrination, that Shepard could never question it. I mean, think if they tried to use, I don't know, like a Reaper as the avatar of indoctrination, it would never work, because Shepard sees Reapers and thinks, defiance, I need to stop them. You see a child and you're like, oh man, you don't think about defying a child, you know what I mean? Of course, you also don't really think about taking a child seriously, but you know what I mean. So that's kind of, I've probably forgotten a few key points of evidence. So if you remember, if there's anything I've forgotten, feel free to leave them in the comments. That's pretty much all I have to say about it, except I really hope, I mean, this theory makes too much sense for it to be false. This has to be what happened. I mean, it has to be, whether it's just a dream or if it is indoctrination. One thing I think we can all agree on is that the end of Mass Effect 3 was all a dream. That's one thing we can agree on, I think. Either that or it was really really shitty writing with very little continuity to it. But whether you agree with the indoctrination or not, personally, I don't know how you could not see the logic of this being indoctrination. But in the case that you don't believe in the indoctrination, again, I think we can figure out that this was all a dream. Um, it does not explain why Shepard only wakes up during one ending and one choice. That's the thing about it, is that if you agree that this is an ending, or this, I'm sorry, this is a dream, why is it that only one choice lets them wake up in the end? So I really hope that this is the plan. I just read something today that BioWare is planning on releasing a a free extended cut DLC that this summer, sometime this summer. It'll be, like I said, free, awesome. It'll explain what the hell happened, and so yeah. Just a few other things that I want to say is initially, before I considered all of this, before I read the indoctrination theory, I was really upset with my choice to destroy the Reapers. I did. That was my choice. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I destroyed them because I heard it was the only way that Shepard can live. When Shepard lived, and I found out that your crew ends up on a completely opposite side of the galaxy, the Mass Effect relays are destroyed. I'm just like, it looked like Shepard was stuck on Earth. What I initially thought when I saw the rubble around Shepard and everything was that that the catalyst, the Citadel, the Crucible crash landed on Earth or something. That's my initial thought was. But I was so upset because the reason why I wanted Shepard to live was so that they could defeat the Reapers and spend the rest of their life in retirement with their crew. Obviously, especially Garrus in my case. So I was very upset that they were basically all stuck apart, you know? I was sitting there thinking, I really wish that I killed Shepard because of, the lack of them being together. Now that I know it's basically all a dream, I'm thinking, and now that I know, or at least I have the theory that making that choice defeated indoctrination in Shepard, I'm feeling much better about my choice. So, I may or may not make different endings with the different, just to show you the different choices, the outcomes of the different choices. It's all generally the very same ending though, except that they kind of end a little differently, and then the other two have Shepard die. So that's kind of all I had to really say. I have now been ranting for 38 minutes, and those of you who probably have, it's probably only a few of you who actually listened all the way to the very end like this. But I just want to spread the word for those of you who are interested in the ending and you have not yet heard these theories. I'm also going to include a link in the description to a Google document that has the focus of the Google document is that the end has to be a dream, but there is stuff in there that supports the indoctrination theory. It's also a little more organized than my ranting was. So if you don't fully understand what I'm trying to say here and you want more information, check out the link below, and you can read more about that. Alright, so that is my thoughts on the ending, and I'm just hoping that is the true, what the true events behind what happened in the end of Mass Effect 3, and that if this is all how BioWare does it, I cannot wait for the extended cut, because if it gives you a true ending, a true boss battle, final boss battle, besides Marauder Shields, then we're going to be in for a really, really epic final ending. Alright, so again, my thoughts, there they are. I will see you guys during Mass Effect 2 for Renegade Dixon. I again am on part 45. 46, sorry. I'm on part 46 now of uploading. Yeah. So, Mass Effect 2 won't be up for a while anyway, since I won't even be uploading the ending of Mass Effect 3 for probably like a month. So, there we go. I will see you guys then.